Welcome back to Top of the Chops. Today we're going to look at Dua Lipa's new single, Physical. So I'm actually really excited about filming this one because even though I don't think there's any guitar in the track, it translates so well into guitar and the parts are just really fun to play and some of them are quite tricky as well, so it's going to be quite a good lesson, I think. Now, it's a bit of an 80s vibe again, similar to The Weeknd's Blinding Lights, which I think is still up at #1. This is #3 in the charts today. Obviously 1 and 2 I've done before, so I'm doing #3 today. And yeah, it's got a real 80s vibe to it. Everyone seems to be going for that at the moment. But yeah, it's got a real kind of drive-in bass line all the way through it and then some really nice leads. And the lead vocal in the chorus is really, really fun to play as well. So we're going to go over that. So this song is produced by the A-Team. We've got Jason Evergan and Cos. And the additional songwriters on there, you've got Sarah Hudson, Dua Lipa, of course, and then Clarence Coffey Jr., who I had the pleasure of working with a few years back in LA. So before we start, please subscribe and like the video, and let's get into it. Okay, so the main thing we're going to be looking at today is the chorus. We've got 4 parts that I'm going to run on the looper. So we've got like the bass line, which we can play as like a palm muted guitar riff, which is really cool. Some chords on top. And then we've got the lead. There's a synth lead in the main track, which is really, really cool on top. And then we've got the vocal melody. I think on the loop as well, I'm putting a snare, but that's just obviously to keep a pulse going. So we'll look at each of those parts. The song's in A minor, okay? So our first kind of chord is an A minor. It then goes to an F major, which I tend to kind of like an F major 7 with the E on top. For all the chords actually, I leave the high open E on top and I play them all as open chords. So we've got A minor, F major 7, C major, and then we've got a G, but do a G major 6 with the E on top. Just to keep that consistent note ringing out. I quite like that. But first of all, on the loop, we've got the riff. Now, what it does is each of those kind of chords, it runs as a drone note underneath. So I put a bit of distortion on, a bit of gain. So obviously you've got that running along the bottom, and then when the chord changes, so does the bass note. And to C, and then G. Okay, so there's obviously a riff above those notes, so it kind of goes in between the drone note and the riff, and that repeats for each chord, other than the last one is slightly different. So the first on the A goes, okay, and that stays consistent through each of the notes, so A, F, C, and G. So yeah, it's 3rd fret on the D string between the A, so, and then goes down to the 2, and then to the open D, to the open D again, and then it goes open D to E, so 2nd fret on the D string. So that whole phrase. Okay, does exactly the same, but with an F in the bass this time. Same, but with a C, so 3rd fret on the A string. And then I change my fingers. I use my little finger to play the D3, and then the 3rd finger to play the D2. So it's also that I don't have to move anywhere. Everything is in that kind of 3 fingers, or within that 3-finger position, and then the little finger can kind of tuck over for that. And then when we go to the G as well, so the 3rd fret on the E string, little finger tucks above there. This is where it changes. It basically runs down a scale. So okay, so it's going. So it ends on the B on the A string, 2nd fret. Okay, I use my little finger for that C as well, 3rd fret on the A string. So that's the riff, that cycles round. Then I lay the chords on top, and then I lay the snare down as well, which is basically just on a clean channel on the 2 and 4, 1, 3. Okay, and I might do a little skip in there as well on certain ones. I think I maybe do that on the end of a cycle, but you'll be able to see that on the video. So for the lead parts, we start off on the 10th fret B string. So this is for the synth lead, okay? Now, for this whole section, I think I use shape 3 of the natural minor scale in A. Okay, yeah, I do. So it starts 10th fret on the B string, and I kind of swell it in. I think it does on the record as well. Okay, nice vibrato on there to keep it running. And then 12th fret on the E string, pull off to 10. And then I kind of hammer on from nowhere on the 13th fret on the B string and pull that off to 10. So I literally just pick the 12 on the E string, and the rest are kind of legato. So it starts. Then you've got on the 4th beat, you've got the 12th fret on the G string. Then we jump up to the 13 on the E string. And that goes 13, 12, and then 13 on the B string. And then it repeats, but just changes the last note to a 12 on the B string. So that whole phrase. So yeah, plenty of vibrato, okay? And that repeats, it's the same again, so you can just let that run on your loop while you get ready for the vocal melody that goes on top. So in the actual record, the vocal does go over this synth as well, so you kind of got 2 lead melodies going, but that's quite a open, spacious lead, that first synth lead, so it leaves lots of room for the rhythmic vocal. So yeah, this is very rhythmic. I'm not going to go into detail on exactly how, you know, the notes are broken up and the subdivisions and everything. Just kind of use your ear along with the vocal. So I find it quite easy to play these vocal melodies because I already know the song by this point, and it's quite catchy, and you're just kind of following what you're hearing really. It's just making sure you get the notes right. Now, this is based a lot on this root note A. Okay, so it's the 10th fret on the B string. And for this vocal melody, I'm using shape 2 of the A natural minor. So okay, so yeah, some shapes that I haven't used much in many of the other videos that I've done on Top of the Chops, and that's mainly because I like shape 1 and 4. I like improvising in those, but certain melodies, when you pick it up on the guitar and you try and find it, they just fit in place with different shapes, and I've found that with the synth lead and the vocal melody. Okay, so yeah, she's basically singing on this A quite a lot, and it starts off with, and it's going between that 10 as well on the B string, and also every now and again you'll get a 9 on the G string, and I put like a palm mute on that. I want to kind of get the dynamics of how she's singing it, so the palm mutes, you know, every now and again you'll get that intricate little note in there. So yeah, she starts off, so it's like 10, 10, 9, 8, 10, 8, 10. Yeah, and then you get, see what I mean about the palm muting, just in between, and even on the 8 as well. Sorry, 10, 8, 10, and then ring out the 10. Yeah, it's very intricate. You just kind of got to play around with it. Obviously, I'll give you the notes, but just try your own thing on it. Some people might hear different dynamics in what she's singing, and you do it in your own kind of way. So yeah, that's those first parts, and then so yeah, that's kind of the tail of the vocal melody. She's going come on, and it's, so kind of think of your palm muted as come and then on. Okay, and then let's get physical is 8, 8, 8, 8, 10. Cool, and then the last part, when it repeats, you got a really nice rundown on the scale, and it's probably my favourite part of the melody because it switches it up and you kind of don't expect it. But it starts the same, I think slightly, if you want to get it exact, then you just kind of follow what her vocal's doing. So she misses out like a 9 on the first phrase, so it's like, and then, so this is the really cool bit, and it's kind of running down. So 10, 8, 8, 8, 8, and then 10 on the G string, pulling off to 9. Oh no, it's, yeah, you hit the 10 first on the G, and then you hit it again to a pull off to the 9. And you do the same again, pull off 10 to 9. Hit the 7 on the G, and then pull off 10 to 7 on the D string. So, and then straight after that, you're going to have a palm muted 7 on the D string, so where you are, and then go to the come on part again. So, and then let's get physical. So that whole second half. Okay, so it literally is just that rundown that's different in the second half, okay? And that's all of the parts there. And I layer those on top, finishing with that vocal melody, because obviously it's longer, it's like double the length of all the other parts. Okay, great. So there's a bit of improv I do at the end of the video, but that is literally in A natural minor, so you know what you're doing with that. So have fun with this, put it on a loop pedal or record it, or just literally play it on your electric or acoustic. You might want to do just some of the parts. You might just want to do the chords and then sing on top. Okay, but hopefully that's helped you all. Thanks so much for watching Top of the Chops again. We're back again next week.